So the TKM Extreme Elite Final, Joe Porter on pole position. Wait a minute! He's just binned it into the bow wave of a puddle on the outside of the curb on the exit of Kestrel Corner. He's going to be out of the race. There's no way he can get that started again. Joe Porter has thrown away the final before the race has even got going. This is absolutely unbelievable. Sam Sanders in the 21 in trouble as well, but Joe Porter, the pole man, has thrown it away.
I'm not sure. I know he's stopping. He's got a problem, but why did he drive it into the puddle? That can't have helped him. And Porter on pole will not make the start. So, unbelievable.
Well, that means that Paul Monks will be on his own at the front of the grid from Zach Jones and Jack Partridge returning in the 74. Stephen Chisholm and Josh Waring, more problems off the grid. This is absolutely unbelievable. We go down to the first corner. Paul Monks trying to get to the first corner first. 3 wide into turn 1. Loading through turn 1. A spinner. That's the 43 going around. And all sorts of carnage. Luke Rosewell spinning around, and there's drivers all over the place. The 24 of Gareth Haynes is there, so is the 79 of Ross Darlington.
48, is it?
Yeah, that's 46. That's Michael McEnany. All sorts of carnage here. What a crazy start to this race.
Zach Jones pinched pole position there as well, Jake. He should have been getting a warning for that because he was well up alongside Paul Monks.
And another spinner at the back. It's all kicking off here. That's the 95 of Andrew Rush going off. But James Ogden, the O-plate, now leads the way in... I can't believe this many incidents in this start of the race. Rob Wallace is now up to 3rd place, the man from Cheshire. What is going on here?
Where's Paul Monks gone? Sam Sanders obviously out. We saw that at the beginning. Where's Paul Monks on the 5? He's disappeared. Yeah, there he is, down the inside.
Monks is down in 7th place. He's falling backwards through the field. Something's not right with Monks.
Well, again, you said it earlier, Jake. It's all about setup in these conditions, and certainly in the early running, Paul Monks' kart is... running like a pig. He is dropping down the field.
Saw 2 more karts going off at turn 1 Stowe Corner on that, just in the background there. Didn't see who it was, but karts are dropping out of this race like flies here. We've got the Andrew Rush kart stationary on the inside line at Dan Weldon Corner, and through all of this, the O-plate is leading.
Josh Waring, there's my tip for this one. I said Waring earlier in the day, Jake. He is on slicks. He's taken the gamble. He started down the field and he's already up to, what is it, 6th place. Josh Waring, here he comes with a wet sail. He's got slicks on. The rest pretty much have got wets, I think. But certainly, looking at these conditions, he's got to be careful through the puddles. But Josh Waring could be the man to beat here.
Well, we just saw Paul Monks making his move back on the 12 of Elliot Bridgman a little later into the race, and we can see that the field is spreading out a little bit more. But out in front, it is the O-plate of James Ogden still leading the way from the 26 in 2nd place. Oh, it's a little bit of a move there.
Sproat in 2nd. There's Waring. Oh, those slicks look sweet. Look at that. He's going to love these track conditions as he comes down the straight. He can overtake either way in certain parts of the track. In other parts of the track, he's got to be a little bit careful. But the track is certainly dry enough now. 63 in 8th place. That's Jason Wilson, the Bristol man.
And everybody will be kicking themselves for not going to slicks. There's nothing you can do in these circumstances, and it's an easy overtake up the inside.
Not quite that easy because he did go through a big puddle, but once you're through the puddle, then the track is dry. So my tip for this one, looking good at the moment.
Paul Monks struggling at the moment, battling with Jason Wilson and desperately trying to keep his position. Looks like the 74 Jack Partridge is in that gaggle as well. Now Jack has pretty much sat out the entirety of the 2014 season so far. Financial problems.
This is his comeback, isn't it? Comeback race. He's done pretty well to put it on the 2nd row. Yeah, quality driver, Jack, of course.
Yeah, I spoke to him at the Autosport show in January and was gutted for him that he wasn't going to be able to complete a full campaign in British karting this year, but he obviously has lost none of his flair and ability. He's got himself straight back up there. Joe Stockford having a nice little scrap there in the 45 with Jamie Tyler. And that is brilliant stuff from them. Out in front, Sproat in 2nd place, pulling away, trying to keep up with Ogden. And here's the battle for 3rd position, led at the moment by the 56 of Jake Campbell-Mills.
Jake Campbell-Mills, another driver we know from the British Championships. There is Partridge on the 74, and Monk's now down behind Partridge. 7 is Simon Verco, well known to us again, Simon.
Big moment there for Jake Campbell-Mills as he now comes under increasing pressure from the man in 4th position, the 50 of Rob Wallace. It looks like somebody went off in the background there at Kestrel Corner, throwing up the spray, and you can tell that somebody's gone off because of that huge puddle that Joe Porter, I should say, got himself caught up with there. Jack Partridge there up to 7th position. The spectators looking on, loving every lap of this race at the moment, with Ogden out in front, Sproat in 2nd place. 3rd is still the 56. Pushing hard here, Jake Campbell-Mills, trying to keep in front of the rest of the pack, but up to 4th place has come Waring. Waring is going through this field rapidly now.
We saw James Ogden win the Oplate at Shannington just over a month or so ago at the Super Prix meeting, and is looking to add the TKM Festival to his CV. 6.67 is the gap between Ogden in 1st and Waring in 4th.
That's
but
still
for
massive.
how long?
That's still a massive gap, but I suppose now that the track is drying out quickly, we might just have enough time for Waring to make a push on James Ogden here. It's big. It's a big gap.
There's a second between them, Jake. 1 second between them and plenty of time left. He's going to be on him. He's going to be on him by the last lap. Will he be able to get by, though?
Very, very tough stuff then in this battle. 5th position there, that's the 50 of Rob Wallace as he tries to get away from the 63 of Jason Wilson, with Jack Partridge there squabbling for 7th place with Paul Monks.
Waring for that 3rd spot.
Very nicely done. Into 3rd position then, so Waring on the podium. There's Sproat. He's a long way up the road though, but on dry tyres. 34 Josh Waring has the advantage here, so he'll be able to go through the field very quickly indeed. 1.5
seconds quicker than Carl Sproat currently, Josh Waring. So
there's enough time to do this. It's going to be a really close call, but there is just about enough time to do this. Very close call indeed. This is tough stuff. Bouncing over the curbs there in the middle of the bus stop. That is the 50. Still hanging on to the place there. Rob Wallace trying to get the 63 off his tail. Very, very close racing here as Jason Wilson tries again for that 5th position. 4th in front of both of them is Campbell-Mills. 7th now is Paul Monks ahead of Jack Partridge in the 74. And they are still scrapping big style through Kestrel Corner, through the wet patch and into Kimbolton Corner. Brilliant manoeuvring so far.
Rob Wallace on the 50 there. He's at the pointy end where he wants to be. Probably not quite as far up as he would like to be. He'd like to get a podium out of this, but this is the elite final. 58 drivers, I think it is, in this weekend. So if you're in this final, you are the top 30 of those 58. Would have expected to have seen Joe Forsdyke in this, but not to be. And here comes Waring now. Has got him down the inside.
He's going to be going for it.
Easy pickings through the turn, and he wanted to get that done there before that wet patch. Didn't want to come into this Kimbolton Corner.
He's left him standing. Yeah. Absolutely amazing. He's just driven away from him out of the corner. This is Josh Waring territory.
This is going to be fascinating now. Can he reach the leader? Can he get to Ogden?
Wow.
He needs to get to him before the last lap. Doesn't want to leave it to the last lap. He wants to catch him before then.
A couple of laps ago, I would have said that's impossible, but now I am starting to think that Waring might just have what it takes here to get James Ogden on the last lap of this race. It's a bit like Formula One in 2011, that Jenson Button chase after Vettel in the Canadian Grand Prix, in similar sort of conditions, it has to be said. When Jenson got the tyre call right, it's looking like Josh Waring's doing exactly the same thing to James Ogden here as Jenson Button did to Sebastian Vettel back in the day. So it looks like we're going to have that kind of a finish here at Kimbolton.
Carl Sproat, I tell you what, Carl Sproat's under pressure here from the karts behind. There is Sproat. Well, he's probably, is he far enough away?
Not quite enough time to lose that one, I don't think, but with Rob Wallace leading this chasing pack.
Yeah, none of these 3 drivers on slick, so Sproat probably going to be okay for 3rd place.
Yep, Campbell-Mills from Wallace and Partridge at this moment in 4th, 5th and 6th, though it looks like those 3 are pretty much safe in position. Looking back to see where the drivers are close to them. Who's that that's gone? Is that Campbell-Mills? It is, it's Campbell-Mills! Just as he did last year at the same corner he went off last year, and he's done it exactly the same in this. He went off in the junior TKM final at that same corner last year, and he's done it again in the TKM Elite a year later. He's going to hate that corner for the rest of his life.
Great memory you have. Yeah, I remember that. He was facing 180 degrees. He did a 180 spin, didn't he? This time he's run off through the wet stuff, gone off on the grass. He's got it back on, but he's well down the field now. Fastest lap Ogden 47.84, Waring 46.91
He's
fastest lap.
just under a second a lap quicker than him. He needs to find a tiny bit more, but it is going to be so close, this finish. Great little squabble there between Scott Jeffs and the 67 behind him of Zach Jones. They're having a great squabble just outside the top 10 as Jack Partridge takes the advantage there to pull away from Paul Monks. That is the 90 just behind them on the road of Joe Stockford, and Jake Campbell-Mills has slotted in behind them. So this is the last lap. Look how close Waring is to Ogden. He's got one chance here. He might just do this.
Oh, it could be a classic. Could be an absolute classic on the last lap. Can he get him?
James Ogden bouncing over the curbs. He looks back and suddenly he hits the panic button. He knows that Josh Waring is right there. He's got to keep this going.
He's looked behind
This is brilliant. Off the road goes Gareth Haynes in front of them. That's not going to slow them up, but zero time to make a mistake here. If he makes one error here, James Ogden, it is
got to get him into this turn. There's a yellow flag in the final turn. He's got to get him now.
Oh,
too late.
He's trying. He's looking all over the place. He goes for the outside line.
He sees the yellow now. Can't do it there.
Can he get him off the final corner?
No.
It's going to be the sprint. No, he's not done enough. One more lap and he would have had that. But Ogden just hangs on the last lap from Josh Waring. What a fight, and they shake on a fair fight. Absolutely brilliant racing. Kyle Sproat hangs on for third. Rob Wallace is fourth from the returnee Jack Partridge in a very strong fifth, ahead of Jason Wilson in sixth. Well, what a brilliant way to end the TKM Festival. That was nail-biting stuff, down to the wire.
Okay, let's talk first of all then to Kyle Sproat. Now, Kyle, all sorts of things going on in that race. You saw Joe Porter get drowned on the warm-up lap. You must have laughed a great deal at that point.
Yeah.
So that obviously opened the field up a bit, but then it was a race of all sorts of complications, and you must have thought at one point second was pretty much yours without a doubt.
Yeah, I did a bit, but obviously we knew the slicks were going to be strong at the end, and fortunately Josh got me, so there's nothing much I could really do.
Great race, great race. Now, the man who took the gamble, Josh Waring, I think you were tipped earlier on as maybe a winner for this one. You obviously took the big gamble there to go on to slicks. You'd seen in the juniors they didn't actually work that well, but you really made them work. So fantastic race from your point of view. Did you ever think you got it wrong when you went out there on slicks at the beginning?
Well, the first couple of laps were a bit dodgy, especially going through the chicane. It was pretty wet in there. But got a pretty good start, and then going through the willows, someone spun in front of me. And that got the leaders away, and then it was just all catch up from there, really, but not quite. One more lap.
Yeah, absolutely. In fact, if there hadn't been that yellow flag on the last corner, you might have done it then.
No, it's still pretty iffy going into that corner because there was a big puddle going in there, but could have tried.
Yeah. So, fantastic drive. Now, actually, as a result of that drive, you get a bit of a bonus today as well, because you get the Bernie Turney Memorial Award for an exceptional drive. So, well done to Josh Waring there. Took the gamble and really made it work, so well done. But that's not to take anything away from James Ogden. Incredibly difficult conditions. You went on the wets. You must have been sitting there at the end just wondering what was going to happen.
Yeah, the last part of the race was just counting down the time, really, just because you could see Josh catching, and you know, just wondering whether I was going to run out of time or not.
I think you made it by about a few hundredths of a second.
Yeah, it was very close to the line.
So great racing, and you've been up the front all weekend, so a really good weekend for you.
Yeah, it was a good weekend, so I'd like to thank Dave Klassen for all the help this weekend.
Well, that's it for another Maxis TKM Festival. Hurricane Bertha has taken its toll this weekend, not least on the cameramen who've had to suffer the wind and the rain, and Alex Forward, who was taken out in the Junior Elite final when he had a massive lead. Got a tangle with a backmarker, unfortunately, but congratulations to all the winners. It's been a great event as usual, and we look forward to being back with you again from Kimbolton next season.